SmarterQueue is the world's leading and smartest social media management tool, and it's a really easy way for you to create, schedule, and then also publish your content to LinkedIn and every other social media channel. It is all based on a posting plan that you can create to find out when your audience and your dream customers are online to get you better results. So if your goal is to make more money from social media and spend less time on it, definitely check us out if you're not already with us. I'd like to introduce the queen herself of LinkedIn, Louise Brogan. Louise is incredible. She gave the most amazing talk at Social Media Marketing World. And I'm really excited to have her on today to explain how to increase your visibility on LinkedIn in only 20 minutes a day, which is so cool. So this will be a live workshop, and then there'll be a Q&A at the end and some free goodies to you after. Over to Louise. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to this. I am wearing my Smarter jacket that I picked up in San Diego. Thank you very much, Emma. So do we just dive straight in, Emma? Excellent. Okay. I'm now taking off my very lovely, I tell you what, guys, the SmarterQueue hoodie is really good quality, quite warm. So I'm taking it off now because otherwise I'll overheat. I also have my Smarter pen, the recipe that I got as well. So I'm all branded up today. Okay, so my name is Louise Brogan. I wrote a book called Raise Your Visibility on LinkedIn, which you could get a copy of over on Amazon. And I live in Belfast in Northern Ireland. In fact, if you've ever been to Belfast, you'll spot the pink bus in the window behind me in this photograph, actually, which is you can see all over Northern Ireland. I run a LinkedIn marketing agency. So we do content for clients, specifically for B2B clients who want to leverage LinkedIn. I have a podcast and YouTube channel. My YouTube channel blew up during the pandemic, and I have over 110,000 subscribers now. Everything I teach about LinkedIn, you can learn for free over on YouTube. I kind of started as a resource for people who didn't necessarily want to hire us to do it for them. What we're going to cover today is a proven system for attracting leads without having to post daily or scrabble to think, what am I going to post today on LinkedIn? What to post to get real trust. And you may have spotted, if you use LinkedIn, you can't not have seen the volume of AI generated content on there. And we can talk about that at the end, if you like, have a bit of discussion around that, because we do use AI as tools, but we don't use them in our business to write the content for us. We're going to talk a lot about video, and I'm going to show you how to use video to really help you with all of your content, even if you never actually post the video, which is something that is music to a lot of people's ears. And looking at a smarter way to stay visible without spending your life on the fact. Because, come on, summertime, we all want to go outside and get a bit more vitamin D, especially if you live in the UK or Ireland and you've been waiting for this time of year. Anyway, the LinkedIn ecosystem. LinkedIn for me works by having all four engines moving together. So that is having a really good LinkedIn profile. I'm actually going to start with that today because you can post the best content in the world, but if you haven't got your profile optimized, then you're really doing yourself a massive disservice, because all the activity you're doing on LinkedIn drives people to look at your profile, and your profile should help them decide whether or not you're the right fit for them. We're going to look at content and connections and engagement on LinkedIn. So without further ado, starting with your profile. This part of your LinkedIn profile is what they call the introductory card. So this is the top bit of your profile. And it looks a little bit different on mobile because LinkedIn on mobile and LinkedIn on desktop they're actually created by two different teams. So there may sometimes be things that they do on mobile that are different to desktop and vice versa. But this is the introductory card at the top of your profile, and all the sections are the same. You just want to make sure that you have them all fully optimized. So that is a headshot, a background image, your name, which might sound really obvious, but people put other things into these fields. But having your name in here, then your headline, I'm going to go through these different sections, having your company page over on this section here, If you went to university, it shows up here. And then this really important piece here, contact info. It's where you can find someone's, hopefully, if they put their profile, if they create their profile properly, in the contact info button, you will find their website and their email address. And you would be amazed at the number of people who don't actually know about this contact info button and have not updated it. And you click on that contact info and it shows their Gmail, email. And if you're looking at your profile right now and going, oh my gosh, that's me, I would not be surprised, because that's something I find out doing lots of clients where we do one-to-one work together. Then you've got your follower count and your connections. And then if you have got LinkedIn Premium, you have the option of adding in extra buttons that encourage people to connect with you on LinkedIn. So going from the top down, key areas for your profile that you really, really, really please update after today's workshop is your headshot photograph. So you see this little faint line. It shouldn't be a picture of you like this. It should be your head, your face looking into the camera. Because as human beings, we connect with other human beings. So we want to see your face and just like a friendly approach. If you think about this as if I met you at an in-person conference or event, would I recognize you from your LinkedIn photograph? Or is it an old photograph? Is it maybe a photograph from your holidays or your vacations? It might be a photograph of your graduation gown. Think about how you present your profile on LinkedIn is how you would show up if you're attending a professional networking business event. So we should be able to recognize you from that. Your headline then, I believe, should tell us what it is that you do and who you do it for. So your role, the industry that you're in, if that's relevant, and maybe what you're interested in. We do video and content marketing for B2B on LinkedIn. I wrote a book, a podcast, YouTube channel, and then I'm passionate about small businesses. I'm one of the UK small business champions, and I'm also a speaker. So this headline is a nice, concise headline. When you comment on other people's content on LinkedIn, you will see just this first line of someone's headline. So don't put the key things you want to be known for on the second line. So don't waste space with say, I love to help people with blah, 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 blah. Because when you do that, you'll find that I love to help people with takes up more of the first line. And the key things, if LinkedIn is the key thing you do, it ends up in the second line and people don't see that keyword when you're commenting on someone else's content or even your own content on LinkedIn, which is actually how most people will find you. The next thing to think about on here is your background image or cover photo. So you can see this, the first one here, the person is looking off to the left, so we can't see her face to face. There's a dark background behind her, so it's kind of hard to see her anyway. And then she has no image in here at all. Whereas Theo, this other guy, the CEO down here, you can see his face is looking directly into the camera, and we can see he works in some kind of manufacturing based off of the image that he has behind him. Even better it would be if he had his company branding somewhere up here as well. So it makes a huge difference when people go to your profile. The next key area to think about is your about summary. So this should be about how you help people. It shouldn't be about you. It should be about how all your activity on LinkedIn. And once you get the profile done, guys, it's done. You don't need to touch it for the next couple of years, except you update your photograph. That's why I spend time on this. Because if we want to use LinkedIn effectively, have time scheduled in our calendar to get in, connect, engage, all of that hard work drives people to your profile. So you want a really good, solid profile for your foundation. That's why I spend time on this section, on this part of the talk. So your about summary, how can you help me? So say you posted some really useful content about how to do your next presentation for speaking at a conference. And I am a speaker who speaks at conferences. So I'm really interested in that. And I looked at your headline and it said event speaker booker or something. It's not a good phrase, but you know what I mean? The name of the person who books the speakers And I see that. So I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. This lady Alex has talked about. She's talking about her next conference, how she picks her speakers. Look at her headline. She looks like the person responsible for booking the speakers. I go to her profile, and then on her about summary, it's her product history or her resume of everything she ever did. I want to know, if I connect with her, how she can help me. Maybe she will say something like, do you want to get booked to speak at your next event? I help people structure their talks. I help people with their slides. Da, 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 da. Here's the kind of people we work with. And so it's all about helping me rather than being the history of her work to date. And that makes me want to connect with her and reach out to her and say, hi, Alex, I speak at conferences. I'd love to have a chat with you because I think I could maybe you could help me out with a few questions that I have. So how can you help the person reading your profile? What do you want to be known for? And then always include a call to action in here. So it could be grab a copy of my free guide for speakers, or it could be book a call if you'd like to have a chat about our services. I prefer the book a call one because that takes people from LinkedIn over to actually speaking to you. And that's where you get the real magic happening, when you can drive people through your content and your presence and your work on LinkedIn to actually having phone calls or Zoom calls with somebody who hopefully will want to work with you. Formatting is huge on LinkedIn, not just in your about section of your profile, but also in how you write your posts. And once you get the knack of this, you just keep doing it over and over. It works really well. But the key here is having white space everywhere on the internet. Basically, white space. If you think about the Google homepage, it is literally the word Google and then a box. And it used to be covered in lots of clutter, but it's just a white box that you put your search term into. And that's really helpful because it's called human computer interaction. I studied it when I did a master's in computing many, many years ago now. Like, embarrassed to say how long ago now. But it was one of my favorite modules because it made me understand how, as human beings, we interact with screens. And having lots of white space makes things easy to read. So when you're writing your posts, writing your articles, your newsletters, your blogs, and your about section, make sure you have plenty of white space so it's easy for people to read. Add emojis. Now, this is the tricky bit with the AI, because when you use AI to help you draft your content, throws all the emojis in. And that makes me really sad because I love emojis and I would always have used emojis in all of my content. And now I'm like, I don't want people to think that AI wrote this. I wrote this. I still included them. No one's called me on it. I've always used them. I love them. Green ticks, red pinpoints, that kind of stuff. I love those emojis. So have a look at my profile and you'll see how I've used those in the about section for an idea. And quite often I'll present a workshop or I'll speak at an event and people will look at my profile afterwards and literally copy the format of how I've done this. I have zero issue with that. Please do use it as an example if you like how I've laid it out. The other key thing in here is make sure you write it in the first person. So this is your personal profile, so be personal. And also make it interesting so that people actually want to read it and think that you're somebody they'd like to connect with. If you remember, if we think about this as being our in-person event, if we meet somebody and we have a bit of a chat, people buy from people. So show up as yourself on here as well. Don't be thinking, oh, I have to be all business build. You show up as yourself because people will want to work with you who find you the right fit for them. And your content on LinkedIn should reflect how you would talk to someone if you're actually going to work with them. Okay. The next section is your featured section. And I ended up making a video about this today and posting it over YouTube and LinkedIn because the event that you may recognize in the top of my featured section is this event we're at right now. So I copied the link to the event and added it to my featured section using this plus button here so that when someone goes to my profile and they like what I've said about something else, maybe they receive my LinkedIn newsletter, and they go to my profile, as you scroll down, the featured section is like a nice chunk of color across the screen that stops people and they look at it and you'll click on this link and it's like, oh, how to grow your business on LinkedIn. in just 20 minutes a day. And people click on that, and it takes them to the event and gets them to sign up. And once the event is over, I will edit my featured section and change what is first in the featured section row. So make sure you're using this section. If you don't know how to add it to your profile, I have a video on that on YouTube, unsurprisingly. Oh, you could watch today's video. The rest of it, just make sure you fill out all of your profile on LinkedIn to give yourself the best opportunity for getting leads from all the activity that you do. So let's get on to content, because I know you're all looking for help in getting, oh, please can I get a strategy for my content? I'm not spending all my time trying to create things. So how it feels like content is a never-ending hamster wheel. The great news is that Smarter, the guys who are hosting today's event, have loads of ideas for you. This is just one of their screens. Make the most out of Smarter. These are all video guides to help you find top content to share, automatically share your blog posts. I love that feature because that's something I've been doing on my LinkedIn company page, where you can embed your RSS feed and it will share all the fresh content you're creating and it will pull old blog contents for you. But these are great resources over in Smarter. I highly recommend that you go and check them out. There's a free trial for anyone who's here today. If you go to louisebrogan.com/SmarterQueue, 30-day free trial of SmarterQueue. Check it out. Go watch the videos, get the ideas, and see where it leads you. Couldn't resist putting a little picture of me on stage at Social Media Marketing World. All right. So you're stuck on the content treadmill. Maybe you have pushed yourself out of your comfort zone and you've created the video and you're like, oh, what am I doing now? What am I doing with this? Or you're posting everywhere and you're growing nowhere, which we do not want for any of us here today. So how can you really raise your visibility on LinkedIn in 20 minutes a day? Like, is that actually possible? Yes, it is. Okay, want to get ahead of yourself. That is the key. Rather than scrabbling, when you have your content planned out and you schedule it all in advance, then you spend that time on LinkedIn connecting with people who've commented on your content, people who have shared other content you find interesting, people who are commenting on their content. This is if you think of LinkedIn as a online networking event, it's a better way to think about it, because you might see a post from Emma or from me and talking about something you're interested in, and there's lots of people commenting underneath. Well, that's where you start digging through those comments to see, are there people here who are saying something I'm interested in, or potential clients for me, or someone who works with my ideal client, and that's someone I'm going to reach out and connect with. And you send them a connection request that says, hey, I saw your comment on Louise's post about XYZ. I thought it'd be really good to connect. Nice, simple connection request. Highly unlikely they'll turn you down with that. If you've not got a premium account, of course, you can't always send a message with those connection requests. What I do with that is I connect with somebody, and if there's somebody I really want to be able to speak with, once they accept that connection request, then I send them a message afterwards. So you've got to keep track of what you're doing. And that's why I grow my network steadily and slowly, rather than connecting with hundreds and hundreds of people every month. If you try and do that, you will do damage to your account. You may get it frozen, so try not to do that. But I would prefer to connect thoughtfully with people and build up conversations with them in the private messaging, rather than just trying to get as many people into your network as possible. All right, lecture over. So I came up with a framework called coping with video, how to cope with video. And that is to create once and publish everywhere, which SmarterQueue can help you do. So what if one video a month was all you needed? And this is literally what we do with our clients. Today, I recorded a session with my client in Texas, who's a leadership development coach. We recorded 30 minutes of video, and that will create at least 30 days of content for my client. And all she had to do was show up for 1 hour today. And we spent half of that 1 hour chatting about strategies and podcasts and all sorts of things. So once you get into the rhythm of doing this, such a time saver, it's great. But before you start creating your content, you need to think about your strategy. So who are you trying to talk to? What is it that you want to say? Where are you going to find these people? Where, if you're going to record video, where are you going to record it? You need to have a decent space to record in. When are you going to do the work? And when are you going to schedule? I prefer scheduling it out for our clients. Well, that's all we do for clients is schedule in advance, because then we know it's done. We know we're covered for the next 4 to 6 weeks, and we can go on to to create the next month's content in a couple of weeks' time. So it's about peace of mind and about saving you time as well. When we create that one video, like I did earlier today, we have 2 core videos from today's call, because the client I'm working with, we are so far ahead with this client. We have got content scheduled for her to September. Because the last time I worked with her, we recorded 4 videos. Today we needed to do 2. It was only because she already had them prepped for today that we even recorded them, because we're like, oh, we're scheduled right up to September. So taking one video and you could turn it into a blog, short form video content, emails, posts for LinkedIn and for other platforms, of course, although we focus mainly on LinkedIn. You take and create graphics, reels, and just keep going. So does this sound familiar? Scrabbling for ideas last minute. Inconsistently posting, so you get low engagement, because if your network are not used to you posting and you haven't posted in ages, this puts you off posting on LinkedIn today or tomorrow, because you just get into your routine. It's like whenever you start doing Pilates or trying to run, start jogging, you've got to start somewhere. So if you haven't posted recently, don't worry, start and it will start to build. But when you only post sporadically, you get low engagement, because you train your network to expect content from you, and then you get engagement from those people. Video recording. If you're going to do video, rather than creating a video each time you want to video, we do it, and people call it batch recording, because otherwise you have to get set up every time. And if you may want to wash your hair or put on some eyeliner, for example, so you want to once you're ready to record, just do as many videos as you can. But also people get overwhelmed, and that leads to procrastination. So I created my little system. When you have a clear content plan, it means there's no more guesswork. Batch recording saves time and effort. Having an actual repurposing strategy maximizes your reach. So when I say having a repurposing strategy, this is something we work with clients on. You come up with your content strategy, and then you have a strategic plan for actually repurposing it, rather than thinking, oh, Louise said if I do a video, I can create all these things from it. Having literally a checklist of what you know you're going to get out of that content is so useful, and using something like Smarter to help you with that, or even, honestly, a pen and paper and a checklist that you tick off that you've got everything done. Having a system. And then being consistent online builds your trust and your visibility. So the second system, I promise, there's only 2 acronyms in this promise, is PREP. So plan, record, edit, and publish. What are we actually trying to create? So think about this, because your audience, you may not want to do video. You may want to do podcasting. You may want to do a video podcast. You may want to do an audio podcast, but plan it. What does your audience want? And what do you want to create? And plan what you think you want from this. So video, audio, short form video, written content. That's the key things that we are doing. And set yourself up for success. I'm a huge fan of AI. Massive. My background is tech. I was a software engineer. I was an IT project manager. I love this AI thing. I love it. I love playing with it. I love doing videos on how to use it over on YouTube. It's kind of like a little side angle. I talk all about LinkedIn, and then I share tools that you can use as well. So with AI, whichever one you use, Claude or ChatGPT, whatever you use, ask it to help you come up with the key content ideas for your video. So tell it who you are. I'm a LinkedIn consultant. Tell it who you work with. I work with B2B professional service clients. What do I want? I want to create a series of 12 videos for LinkedIn. What's the purpose of those? To help my audience, showcase my thought leadership, and what I want from this, I want it to lead to referrals and inquiries for business. Can you help me come up with 12 focused video ideas? So that's what I put into chat, and it spat out 12. Like, give it a limit, because if you say, can you come up with focused video ideas, it could go on forever. So you can see all the different pieces there that I said, who I am, who I work with, what I want from this, what I wanted to do for me, and what I want you to give me as the AI. Okay. Then once you've got that written out, the goal is that you record, or the plan is, you record 1 hour of video each month. So this is what we do with our clients. We use Streamyard for this. And you'll see on here that this is me on the left, and this is Sarah on the right. Sarah is a team member of one of my clients. Sarah knows in advance what questions I'm going to ask her on this Streamyard call. Streamyard is a piece of software. And you can do this on Zoom, you can do it on lots of different things. Part of my role, in fact, a huge part of my role with our clients is to make people feel comfortable on camera. So we check their setup, they've got a microphone, how they're feeling about it, because usually the people I'm working with have not really done video before, especially if it's a company we work with, because they may put forward different members of their team to do this. And that person will come in for an hour with me, and then they won't be doing this again for another year, at least, if you've got a larger company. So a lot of my role is making that person feel comfortable. And then I literally ask the questions. So I might say, Sarah, can you explain a little bit about your job and what it is that you do on your day-to-day? Then I get off camera. So the only person on the screen is Sarah, and Sarah answers me directly. So the video, because Sarah is talking with me, she's at ease and she's responding to a person, me, because we're having a conversation. So the end result of the video is that when you look at this video on LinkedIn, Sarah's very at ease and you feel like she's talking to you because she's literally answering somebody directly on camera, if that makes sense. And then we repurpose it all. So best practice for video for LinkedIn is that you keep it short, keep it under 2 minutes. Actually, LinkedIn are kind of like suggest to keep it under 60 seconds. I think it's fine to have 2 minutes. The video I put up today it's just under 3 minutes. I got lots of engagement on it because I'm showing people how to do something. Add captions to your video. LinkedIn will add captions, but that depends if the person watching the video has turned them on or off, whether or not they see the captions. So I prefer to embed my captions into those videos. I didn't have time to do it today, so the video has gone out without the captions. So I'm dependent on people either watching with the sound on, which is very unusual, or they read the LinkedIn captions. Having a call to action. Remember, we're doing this to grow our businesses, to get leads and inquiries. So there should actually be something at the end that says, ask me a question or let me know down below in the comments. It's something that leads people to take action. And then if relevant, add your branding to that video as well. So this is what I get out of those videos. So you'll see the top row in the middle. That is where we create written posts from the video. So the joy of the video is that it's in the person's own words. So we have a team of copywriters who will write posts based off of what is said in the video. We have the short form videos that you can see here. So there are 4 videos that came out of that one call with Sarah. And then this is the editing piece. Editing in Streamyard or with the script. There's lots and lots of video editing tools. If you do not have the skills to edit video, then outsource, bring somebody in. It's much better to have a well-edited video than to go to all this effort and not have a great video go out for you, or just learn how to do it. I have a tutorial on how to use the script for editing your videos on YouTube. But there are 300 videos over there, guys, and that I teach you really everything you need to know about how to create your content and build your LinkedIn profile. So do check it out. If you try editing yourself, we use the script, and it's brilliant because you literally select the text. To remove it, you select it and delete it. It has AI tools to help you edit the video, and it's really powerful. It's a brilliant little tool. You use AI to select scripts for you. Josh works for the same company as Sarah, and he did brilliant videos about working as he trains apprentices. He's an apprenticeship trainer for this company. He was a motorcycle mechanic. You see in the text that says, and the AI will remove all of that for you. It's so accessible now to create these videos to share on your social media. I mean, it's brilliant. We've got all these tools at our fingertips that we can use. And if we don't want to do that, then we can have people like me do it for you. So from 19 minutes of recording with Josh, we got 13 videos to share on the company LinkedIn page. So just like that's 19 minutes of him answering my questions gave us 13 videos for their LinkedIn company page. So that's pretty powerful. Record it anyway. No one never ever needs to see it. This is what we're going to do instead. Or as well, do it as well. But if you don't want to be in the video, do all the next steps and never post the video. That's absolutely fine. Get the transcript from your video, and you can do this with different tools. You can get your Streamyard video, your Zoom video, but get the transcript because it is in your own words. And this is where the repurposing just takes off. So what we get from those videos is we create blog posts from it. My writers will watch the video, download the transcript, and from the transcript, they will create blog posts for the client. We then create a newsletter for LinkedIn, and you can have a personal newsletter on LinkedIn, or you can have a company page newsletter, or you can have both. So we use the transcript to create that. If you have the video, you're going to use the video, embed the video into your newsletter as well. It's very powerful. Newsletters are brilliant for engagement on LinkedIn, because if you've ever seen where you connect with somebody and they've got a newsletter, you get invited to subscribe to their newsletter pretty much straight away. When you first create a newsletter, everybody in your network gets invited to subscribe to it. What I love about them is that people who I have no idea who they are follow me through my newsletter. They're not even following me. They subscribe to my newsletter without following me. Also, long form content on LinkedIn has a 2 to 3 year shelf life. If you write it well and if you have the skill of writing, if you do not, then get a copywriter to help you. If you can write a really good article that answers people's questions, you will see people clicking on those articles. I have articles that people click on from 7 years ago, because you can go into those articles, you can see in the analytics that people have been clicking on that in the last month, which is amazing. It's kind of one of the reasons I love LinkedIn so much as a social media platform, because I don't know when the last time you saw somebody's Instagram post from 7 years ago surface in your Instagram feed. It's probably never happened. So definitely get yourself a LinkedIn newsletter. If that's the top tip you take away from today, then happy days, happy delighted. So then we continue with the repurposing. The transcript, out of the transcript, you could pull out the key facts and create a carousel post. The carousel is those posts you see on LinkedIn. It's like a slideshow, and people click on the button on the right-hand side to see the next and the next and the next slide. The tip for these is to have not a lot of words on them, so people click across and keep going. Every time someone clicks on one of your carousel slides, it counts as an engagement by the LinkedIn algorithm, and your content gets shown to more people across the network, which is what we're aiming for. We want to get lots of visibility on what it is that you are talking about on LinkedIn. One of the reasons I really love carousels. And then, of course, the text posts. So remember, the video with Sarah, we recorded for 30 minutes. And we created literally a whole month of content from it, because we had 1 video a week, 2 text posts a week alongside the video, 1 newsletter, 1 carousel post. And that's all coming out of that 30-minute video. Create once and publish everywhere. So you don't need to stop at LinkedIn for our clients, we are posting their video content onto YouTube. I strongly encourage my clients to take that content, the long form piece, and publish it as a blog on their website. And if they had video, to embed those videos into that blog as well. It also goes out in their email newsletter. So not just their LinkedIn newsletter, but also their, if they have something on MailChimp or ConvertKit or something like that, use that content and send it to everybody, everywhere, all at once. But also then take those videos and repurpose them as reels on Instagram, on Facebook. You could try TikTok. I'm not a TikTok person. Somebody else needs to speak to you about that. So create all of that content, and then you want to schedule it all online so that you are not, as I said, if you have that one video, 30-minute video, you have 4 video posts, 8 written posts. There's 12 posts across 4 weeks. That's 3 posts a week for LinkedIn, because you don't have to post on LinkedIn every day. That's the beauty of it. What I do want you to do in your 20 minutes every day, though, is engage with people, comment on content, respond to people's content, have your private messages going, and build your network. So you need to schedule this all in advance so that this works for you. And this is what it should look like. Working smarter and not harder, saving us time and leaving us to go and have conversations with the people that we want to. So I would love to connect with you on LinkedIn. If you scan this QR code, it will take you to a page of my website that has a link to my book, a link to my LinkedIn, and also a little free guide to use a video on LinkedIn, which I believe you may have got if you signed up through Emma's link for today. Anyway, now we are ready for questions. Stop sharing this. Now, Emma.
Who had some questions for Louise? This is your opportunity to ask her anything LinkedIn, any questions that you have. You can type it in the chat with the speech bubble again at the bottom, that icon, or you can unmute yourself. If you're confident on video and speaking, feel free to unmute yourself. There. Who's got questions? I can read them out as well as they come through. I never knew about the carousel post that, like, if you click on it, that counts as an engagement. That's so interesting.
Yes, and that's the other reason about why multi-image posts. So Social Insider did a study last year, and they said that multi-image posts are the highest highest level of engagement on LinkedIn. And it's literally because a multi-image post is where you post like 3 or 4 or more photographs or images. Multi-image post is uploading separate photographs onto LinkedIn. So you'll see this is like one main photo and then another 2 photos and then a main photo that has like +3 or something on it. And we can't resist clicking on them. We click, click, click. And every click counts as an engagement. And so it's shown to more people. And that is the number 1 most engaging post on company pages last year.
Wow. Okay. We've got a question from D. Scott Harper. You sound like an author. I love it. Maybe you are. Are you an author? No. He says, I said, are you an author? Yeah, yes, okay. Perfect.
Excellent.
He says, how many LinkedIn shows is that per week recommended?
Yes.
We heard 2 per week. Do you think otherwise?
No, I don't think otherwise. Can I call you Scott or D?
Scott.
Scott. Hi, Scott. So yes, the only reason we do 3 a week now is because with our client, honestly, we are creating so much content out of those videos that it's like we're just using it for the clients. But yes, I would always have said 2 a week is absolutely plenty. And there's another person who does similar work to me and very rarely posts, spends all her time in the private messaging and commenting on other people's content. But I think that you should post at least once or twice a week and posting content that helps your audience. So that's the key. If you share stuff that helps people, if you share content that helps people, more people will follow you. And then when they need something that you do, they're going to, either they will ask to work with you or they will refer other people to you because you're showing up consistently talking about the thing that you're the expert in.
Can I ask one more question? We have a weekly podcast.
Nice.
And so we have a graphic with the podcast title and so on. We do that once a week.
Mhm.
Any thoughts about that?
So are you posting other content about the podcast and what people can get from it?
We haven't been doing that. So that's the thing that your lesson here today has made me think about.
Yes. So I used to have it is still a podcast. I used to have a podcast strategy. I used to work with podcasters on LinkedIn. And what I would have done was, say the podcast is getting released on a Wednesday. The plan that I did was, on the Monday, if my podcast is going to be about LinkedIn company pages, on the Monday, I would post a poll, say, what do you do about LinkedIn company pages? And give people options. So people start thinking about it. On the Wednesday, I would publish the post saying, here's the podcast like today, talking about LinkedIn company pages. Thanks to Scott Harper for asking the question on Monday about XYZ. And then on the Friday, I would then host a LinkedIn Live about the topic that was in my podcast on Wednesday. So that worked really well for me. That sounds like a lot of work. But maybe mix it up by sharing what 3 things people will learn from tuning into your podcast that week might work well.
But thank you.
Hi, Mandy. She says, hi, Louise. I've lost access to my LinkedIn account, which is my old corporate life and network. Should I go to the bother of trying to retrieve it, or should I just start again?
Okay, Emma, I get so many questions on YouTube about people who get in trouble with LinkedIn for having multiple accounts. So I would strongly recommend that Mandy contact LinkedIn and get back into her existing personal account, because if you set up a second one, that's a big no-no, and you don't want to build up a new network of people and LinkedIn to shut you down because you've got duplicate accounts. So the other question that's in this is, a lot of people will have worked in a corporate career for 20 years and then they have left to become an entrepreneur or coach or consultant or whatever it is they're doing, or starting their own business. And they're like, well, what about all those people in my network who I used to work with? Will I just remove them? And what I say to that is, no, don't. But start connecting with people that you want to work with. And when content pops up in your news feed from your old life, you can unfollow that content. So people who are in the new space that you're working in, engage with their content, connect with more people like that. But the people who are from your old corporate life will still be interested in what you're doing. And they may be at a barbecue this Saturday where someone says, oh, we're really struggling with our LinkedIn, and they'll say, oh, Louise that I used to work with, she runs a marketing agency that they managed it for you. And so don't cut those people off, because you never know what people are going to say about you or refer business to you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Louise. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Finally, Louise, I used to be in your social beehive and we've done loads of training together, and it's fantastic to see you.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Mandy. Anyone else want to unmute or type a question in the chat? And while we're waiting for people to ask questions, I have one about, what do you think of the tools for LinkedIn that automatically connect you to people in your network and then automatically send them messages? Kind of like the sales automation tool on LinkedIn.
I have a very strong opinion on those.
Very talented.
And it is negative. So you need to be really careful with LinkedIn using third-party tools that are not, but just do not use tools that aren't approved by LinkedIn, because you are putting your whole account at risk. Just go to the video on YouTube that I have about how do I reconnect, or how do I get access to my account, or something it's called. It's about people who have their accounts blocked. There are hundreds and hundreds of comments from people who have lost. You just lose access, and that's it. You've lost it. So it's not worth it. And also, let's pretend we're not on this Google Meet. Let's pretend we're all together in Belfast and conference, and we're all chatting, and somebody brings in a robot that just goes around the room, handing out messages to people. It's like, what? I don't want to talk to the robot. I want to talk to you guys. So I think it's much better to connect with people and have human connection and human-to-human conversations than putting your account at risk because you've used a tool that is not approved. I mean, they just don't approve those tools. It just doesn't happen, regardless of what those tools say. on their websites. But I think it's a really bad idea if you don't want to risk your account. And why would you risk your account? It is really the best place to get business online. So, I just wouldn't do it.
Okay, so automated connections now. I can see that Penny is raising her hand. You want to ask a question?
Penny, hi Louise. I'm actually a friend of Charlene Dunwoody.
Oh, my goodness.
I subscribed to your newsletter. I only did it yesterday. And I'm
Lovely.
really impressed with what you're doing. It's so lovely. And I feel
Thank you.
quite heartened and inspired by what you're saying. So thank you.
Yes.
I'm a photographer, so I love the fact that you started the headshot. It's
Excellent. Yes. You won't hire pennies, do them and
what I wanted to say is I really struggle between the type of content. And I was quite interested that you said you asked AI to help with helpful topics for the video. Yeah, because I'm never sure whether it's about educating, inspiring, selling your services. And it's really, really difficult for me to do that because I'm not naturally a salesperson.
Yes. So if I was a photographer who wanted to be hired by small to medium-sized companies to come in and take photographs of their staff, maybe their headshots, maybe they're going to a conference and need some photographs for that, then I would create content that explains why this is a good idea. Leading people. So rather than saying, this is something I can do for you, people are like, oh, she's just trying to sell to me. Because we don't want to be sold to. Somebody, I talked to one of my fellow speakers and somebody was saying to them, and they're chatting and they moved on. And I said, what was that about? She went, they were just telling me how terrible my LinkedIn looked.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, right, okay. It's just, yeah, so I'll not be buying from them. But if you said to somebody, here's three reasons to update your team's headshots and wrote about that kind of thing, or how to take a really good photograph at work, that kind of helpful content. And then people will share that resource, or so the most interesting people on LinkedIn who never ever see content from are the people who are in charge of buying services for the large corporate. So it could be the HR people who are in charge of bringing in consultants to do work with their teams. They never post because they just get tortured by people trying to sell their services. But that doesn't mean that they don't see your content. So say I had 5 HR people in my network and they all follow what I'm talking about, and you posted something about this that's really interesting and I commented on it. My audience will be shown posts that I comment on as well. So this is where really you go into strategy on who you connect with. It's not just people that you want to buy from you. It's the people that you want to become your customers. Who are they following? Because if those people are posting content and you're always commenting underneath it, and you've got your good headshot and your name and your headline tells us what you do, then people are going to click on your name to go find out more about you and read your profile. And then when they need their headshots updated in their team, you're top of mind because you're in their network, you're active, and it's what you talk about on there. So I hope that helps.
It does help, thank you. But is there any value in deciding who sees your content? Because I believe you can say like, for all marketing people or all HR people, does it help to do that? Or should you just use the generic everyone that you...
Yeah, just post it to everybody, Henny. But that would be, I think you're talking about, that's not a feature that I have on my personal profile. So it might be an advertising feature. But I would always, you can't post to geographical areas on your company page. On your personal profile, you cannot at the moment unless you've got a new, because LinkedIn does change things.
Yeah, they
without any announcements.
I saw that. I didn't know where it's... Okay.
Thanks. I would post to the general network. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Penny. We've got a question from April.
Yes.
Hey, do you want to unmute yourself? What should I ask? Is it better to create LinkedIn content And what makes different, because with Smarter, I just started using this for like a month ago, and I'm busy in between caring for my aging parents and living where we are. And I'm just in a lot of different directions, and being able to just literally, like, we're in the middle of blueberry picking season right now. So in my brain, I'm going, just throw all the blueberries in there, and then just like metaphorically. And so for me, it's so simple to just go click, click. This is what I want to say, and just go post it. Just make it happen. Am I just throwing spaghetti at the wall? I'm from the South, so y'all are probably like, what the heck is she even saying?
No, my team member is from Georgia. I love your accent.
Saying, am I just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks, or should I be creating LinkedIn content rather than just throwing everything out there?
So what I would say, April, is if you have a hectic life, which sounds like you have right now.
Just the season I'm in right now. I've got grown kids. They're finishing college, and now I'm parenting my parents. And
I'm kind of in the same space. So I would say, do what works for you that doesn't put you under pressure. So absolutely, just post it to the different channels when you're out of the blueberry. I don't know if they actually are blueberry picking, but when it's this is where scheduling is good, because you could carve out 2 hours a month, and you have if you do the video especially, and you don't have to put the video up, just make the video of you talking about the key things you want to talk about, and then use some of those tools that I talked about to chop it up. And then just take those 2 hours to schedule it out. And I would tweak it a little bit for LinkedIn. Schedule it out so that the rest of the month, you know you're covered. Do it in the first week of the month or the last week of the month, so you know you're covered for July. And then when you have time, go in and just engage and comment on other people's content rather than put yourself under pressure. Life is busy enough. We don't want to put ourselves under any more pressure than we have to.
yeah, okay, good. And in general, when somebody reaches out to connect, 9 times out of 10, there's not a message with it. So I will usually, unless it's somebody super sketchy looking, I will usually accept the connection, and then I will always, always, always send them a message.
It's perfect.
Sometimes I'll get a message right back that is this long paragraph. And, at that point, I feel pretty confident coming back with, look, I love a good pitch slap over the naked body, but how about let's get to know each other a little bit? Yes. And many times they'll come back and they'll be like, oh my gosh, you're so right. I'm so sorry. Like they don't realize that they just came out of the gate with a full course meal and we hadn't even had drinks yet.
So April, what you're telling me is you're a human being.
Well, you wouldn't know it on some of the LinkedIn messages. Like, oh my gosh, can we not? And like you said, when you were saying that we were all together, you would never stand behind somebody in the line at the grocery store and turn around and be like, hey, here's all the things that I sell. What do you want today?
I know you would just run away.
Yeah. So I appreciate you saying it like that.
Yeah. That's honestly the best way I think to think about LinkedIn is like, let's pretend it's an in-person conference. How am I going to show up? Who do I want to speak to? What do I want to get from this? What conversations can I have? And then once you get to being the speaker at the conference, that's when you're putting the videos up and all that stuff. But most of us are just going in the door to connect with people and have conversations.
100%. And also, April, what I'm going to do is I'm just in the chat, I'm dropping my email address. So send me an email after this and we'll get you booked in a social strategy call with our customer success team. And they'll be able to look at like what's working for you, what's not, and where to double down on. I actually had one yesterday with, can't remember her name, but we talked about times and that kind of thing. She looked at everything. She looked at my posting plan. She looked at the times and things like that. Like there was nothing for Saturday. And she also helped me adjust my categories. I had way too many categories.
That's excellent.
Have a play with it this month and then let me know how it's doing next month.
Go for a whole month on what we talked about yesterday. And then she showed me how to look at my analytics and then sort of like revisit it later and see. Yeah. So I'm hoping through the summer, and I'm just now launching my 2 memberships it's called Shut Up and Post.
Love it.
Because that's what we all have such a hard time with. Just stop talking about it and planning and the spreadsheets and the things and the stuff and just post it already. Sometimes you just have to post it.
Yeah, but you have to connect with me on LinkedIn, please.
Those are my memberships. They're called Shut Up and Post. One of them's just basic, and I give you access to the tool that I use, and one of them's VIP, and I'll hold your hand. So I think I'm taking my own course. Like, I need to shut up and post.
It's fine to do sometimes. It is. So, Louise, do you want to drop your link in the chat? What was it? Was that louisebrogan.com/smart?
Yep, I think I found. Oh, and I did. Holly Homer is a friend of mine, and she's who told me about SmarterQueue.
It all comes up. It all comes back round.
I love her. She's just a powerhouse. She's amazing.
Amazing. So Louise has just dropped in the chat. If you're like, okay, I need to just shut up and post. I need to do this. You want to go to Louise's link, and that's going to give you a 30-day free trial. If you go outside of Louise's link, it's danger zone because you'll only get 14 days free. No, we all have 30 days. Come on, guys. What 30 days? You can try it out. There's no credit card needed. There's no scary commitment. You can just go in, check it out, see if you like it, and connect with LinkedIn, Louise Bergman, and with me as well. I'll put mine in there too. You can just change the Louise for Emma Tiga and connect with us. Let me know what you think. And thank you so much, Louise. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Guys, thank you. Let us know how your LinkedIn is going after that. Hi, it's here. Thanks, Louise. Everyone, ciao.